Good evening, students. Welcome back to biology class. Give it your all. Whatever work you do it to the best of your ability. Dear students, in the last class we learned about salivary glands, which is one of the digestive glands. Today we are going to discuss gastric glands, liver and pancreas. Let us discuss about gastric gland in detail.
Then enters the food pipe, or esophagus, which connects the pharynx to the stomach and is gently pushed down to the stomach by wave-like muscle contractions and relaxations known as peristalsis. When the food enters the stomach, a J-shaped bag-like structure, mucus, hydrochloric acid, and digestive juices that are present in the stomach act on the food to help digest it through chemical action. The mucous membrane protects the inner wall of the stomach from the effects of the acid. The hydrochloric acid kills the bacteria that enter along with the food and also helps in the digestion of proteins. The digestive juices start breaking down the proteins present in the food into simpler forms. Muscular contractions in the stomach churn this food mass to further break it down and mix it with secretions in the stomach to form a thick liquid. This thick liquid is called chyme. The chyme exits the stomach through peristaltic movements and enters the small intestine where most of the digestion occurs.
Liver. It is the largest gland present in our body. In humans, it is located in the right upper part of the abdomen, below the diaphragm. Liver consists of two lobes, the right and left lobes. Gallbladder is a pear-shaped hollow structure located under the liver. Its primary function is to store bile. It contains bile salts and bile pigments. Bile salts emulsify fats to facilitate the action of lipase. Lipase is a fat digesting enzyme. Emulsification is the breakdown of fat globules into tiny droplets.
Liver is the largest gland in the human body and is situated in the upper side of the abdomen to the right. It is reddish-brown in color. It secretes bile, which breaks down fats. Bile is stored in gallbladder between meals.
Pancreas. It is an organ located in the abdomen. It plays an essential role in digestion.
The pancreas is an important organ in the digestive system. It is located in the upper abdomen, directly behind the stomach and next to the small intestine. In most adults, it is between 6 and 10 inches long and 2 inches wide. The pancreas is comprised primarily of a network of tubes or pancreatic ducts that release liquids into the upper portion of the small intestine, called the duodenum. Anatomically, the pancreas is divided into 3 regions: the head, the body, and the tail. The pancreas has 2 functions, endocrine and exocrine. Its endocrine function is to produce the chemicals or hormones that regulate blood sugar, such as insulin. Its exocrine function is to produce enzymes that help to digest food. Pancreatic amylase breaks down carbohydrates or starches into glucose. Proteases break down protein into amino acids, and lipases break down fats. Because these digestive enzymes are so powerful, they are wrapped in a protective layer while they are in the pancreas. To reach the gastrointestinal tract, the digestive enzymes travel through the pancreatic ducts and are eventually released into the duodenum at the major papilla, also known as the ampulla of Vater. Once they are completely out of the pancreas, the protective layer is removed and the enzymes become active. Bile from the gallbladder also enters the duodenum at the major papilla. Bile breaks apart fat into smaller fat droplets, which are easier for lipase to digest. When the pancreas is healthy, it contributes to a healthy digestive system. However, when our pancreas does not function correctly and is unwell, we can have trouble digesting food products.
Children, do you remember different parts of alimentary canal? The different parts of alimentary canal are mouth, pharynx, esophagus, stomach, small intestine and large intestine. In our last class, we learned about the mouth, pharynx, esophagus and stomach, how they participate in the process of digestion. Now, we discuss structure and functions of small and large intestine. Small intestine.
Digested food reaches the next part of the canal. This is called the small intestine. Is this part really small as its name suggests? Nope. We should really not go by its name. That's because it's not really very small. Rather, it's a very long coiled tube. But then why is it called the small intestine? Well, that's because the diameter of this tube is quite small. So it's the diameter and not its length that gives it name. The complete structure is very long. So to understand it better, we divide the coiled part in 3 distinct regions. These are called the duodenum, jejunum and ileum. The semi-digested food from the stomach is passed on to the duodenum first. Is this part involved in further digestion of the food? Actually, yes. When the partially digested food enters the duodenum, it gets mixed with the 2 major secretions. These secretions come from the 2 most important glands, that is, the liver and the pancreas. We will learn about these glands later in the videos based on digestive glands. For now, all we need to know is that carbohydrates, proteins and fats get digested partly as they reach the duodenum and then completely as they pass through the small intestine. So the carbohydrates, proteins and fats are gradually broken down further as they span the small intestine completely. That is, as they pass through jejunum and ileum. Now tell me one thing. What does the alimentary canal do with so much of digested food? I mean, how does it make sure that the nutrients reach all the cells? Well, that begins with the next step of the absorption of nutrients. And needless to say, it occurs in the intestines. Rather, the small intestine plays a major role in absorption. If we zoom in the structure of the small intestine here, we find that the pipe consists of cells having these finger-like projections called the villi. And when we zoom in these villi, we find that they're made up of cells which again have smaller finger-like projections. And what will these be called? The smaller ones are called microvilli. The whole purpose of having these villi and microvilli is to increase the surface area. And what does that help in? An increased surface area helps in better and greater absorption. Each villi is like a single finger, which is hollow from within. Inside it, as we can see here, there are blood capillaries that help in carrying the nutrients absorbed. And what are these structures? These are called as lacteals. Their major function is to absorb the small globules of fat which cannot directly enter these blood capillaries. So this is how absorption takes place in the small intestine. And what next? After the small intestine absorbs most of the nutrients, the remaining undigested food is passed on to the next part of the alimentary canal.
Large intestine.
Intestine is wider than small intestine and measures 1.5 meters in length. Once the undigested food enters the large intestine, it absorbs water and some salts from it and passes the remaining waste into the rectum. Here it remains as semi-solid fecus. The fecal matter is removed through the anus. This is called egestion.
So, slip test 1 questions are given in the Google form. Do it and submit before 9:30 p.m. today. And come up with your doubts during the live class. Thank you.